So I see a lot of value. I know I haven't played with the cloud computer use. So do you see computer use? Is my understanding is it can really see where your mouse is moving on your screen. You can almost, I guess, a very super steroid Excel macro where you kind of documents what's happening on your screen, right? So if you can have that with some kind of file system play that you are doing right now that you just showed us, I just see a lot of value in. I hope people from work don't see it, but where you can move your mouse, you can actually have things move from one folder to another. It could be busy work, but I mean that I'm being funny about it. But the point is, if there are actual activities that need to happen that are very,
I'll tell you one activity that's tedious, Rajni. Yeah. As I'm playing with software, my disk gets full all the time. I have to go find larger file, older file, whatever I've used, and I have to throw it into trash and say, okay, I'm done with it, right? So I wish I can write a set of, right? I can say, these are the criteria, go find all these files and dump them. I don't care, I'll download it later, right? Again, as a developer, I think like that, but maybe you are a photographer and you have files that are old enough and you want to archive them through some other disk external. And so there's a lot of automation that can be achieved by just a voice command type of thing, right?
That is interesting. Yeah, I can see a lot of use cases there. Perfect.
All right, so the next one. Yeah, the next one, I just created a SQLite database with simple table with the product name and price. That's it, 2 columns, product name, price. So we're going to see whether it can go connect it and find out. So it's asking permission again to use this. So now you'll see a bunch of SQL commands getting executed. So it figured out there is one table called product, and then now it's issuing SQL query. So now it's just listing whatever came out of the tool in a list, like a human readable form, right? So again, simple task. Now you can also ask a question like, what is the average price, right? So now that's a little bit sophisticated query. Now it is possible because this large language model knows how to create SQL queries. Underneath it all, everything is a tuned thing that the LLM needs to know. If your LLM does not know how to even create a SQL query, then this is not going to work. You can give it the tool, it doesn't know how to feed it, right? So that's
this is amazing, right? Like it's basically interacting in a human natural language to be able to write queries that what I had to write 20 years ago as a SQL programmer.
Correct.
Do with just natural language.
The funny thing, Rajni, is that when I first saw SQL, I was amazed, right? Because the whole mantra for SQL is you tell it what to do, but not how to do, right? And then it does it. And it's a similar thing, but in a different abstraction, right? We are now conversation doing it. We are saying, hey, you do this. And I don't care how you do it, just do it, right? And it is creating this SQL servers. They have this query caching, and they create this whatever the plan, the query plan. Now in this one we call the task plan or whatever, creates a plan. Everything creates a plan. But now it has come to this level where we can just natural language, right? So it's interesting. And the analogy is like when I started working, SQL was like that. SQL was like, whoa, I don't need to exactly tell, I just select, right? That was crazy. And I was amazed by it. But now it's like, it looks like nothing now with AI, right? It's like, oh, now I can just speak to it.
I know a lot of people use Excel. I'm assuming it's not a database, but you should be able to interact with the Excel files too at some point, right? If it's
this is the whole thing. The invitation, Rajni, is open now to all the developers to build this server with tools, right? That's basically it. Now you write a tool that knows how to parse the Excel and do some things, then the LLM can use it. So now that's why it's open source now, right? Like everybody go build whatever you feel like. If you are an Excel macro person and you want to execute just wrap it around a tool that takes some parameter, and internally you're still programming it to do what you want it to do. This goes back to the same thing, right? Your first example of these tools have been around, right? That's where you started. That's why I'm saying these tools are around. It's just getting wrapped around another layer of abstraction. So you can use natural language.
Perfect.
All right. So that's the third. Third one is your Brave search, and I'll leave that to you. So
let's just because just for the audience, I don't think we can recreate it. But when I did it without connection to Brave, and you say, "Hey, can I get my latest Bitcoin news?" The response you get is, "I'm not connected to the internet, and I can't do this." But now that Brave has been connected, you can say, "Get the latest Bitcoin news or Ethereum news." Let's see how it responds.
Can you get me latest Bitcoin price?
Yes.
Okay, static LLM would not be able to do this because you need to reach out to a feed, right? So here it's trying to run the Brave search, as you can see. We'll allow that. Okay, there you go. That's the summary of it, which probably is accurate between 99,000 and 100,000. What's the current price?
It's over 100,000, but I checked a few hours ago. Okay,
it's 99,000. It's 99,785. So yeah, I think it's reasonably accurate. It's not exact number, but it gives you the range.
Agree, and I think it's come from a web search. Again, when you didn't have this tool, your Claude was
right.
I'll just call it a static LLM, right? Just adding this one tool, now you can use. So now, if you got the Bitcoin price, can you really go? It didn't come back with the price. If you now can have a follow-up conversation, and will it decide whether it needs to go out? Like, so if you say, what was is it a good time to invest? I'm just randomly making up stuff. I don't know if we'll go back and look for applications or say, no, I won't do it. So just what would be, just you can make up any kind of follow-up. I just want to see what it does.
Okay. So I was just looking at the count 3. So it actually consulted Coin Market Cap, the Coin Desk, and then
that's interesting.
This is source is Binance. Yeah, the Binance URL. So it's just trying to get, again, it still doesn't know. It's trying to aggregate the price between 3 options, right? It's not like ideally you want to go to a price feed, pull the price, and be done with it. But it's just doing a basic search to come up with it. What was your question again, Rajni?
I'm just saying, is it a good time to invest in Bitcoin?
Is this?
I don't know whether it's. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know whether it searches. Is it going to search?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, there you go. It's searching.
See, it is. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Okay.
So it's giving where is the source? Again, as always, everyone, the source is important. So let's see where it's pulling this from. So now it's consulting. I have no idea.
Changing Forbes. Okay.
So at least one website is reputable. Technopedia. So again, this is the variation here, right? So how do you control maybe better search criteria to pull from reputed sites, all kind of fun stuff. But yeah,
just like the tool, we've used the tool, but now how the tool prioritizes also is the next level of tweaking you can do to make your agent do exactly what you want to do. For the most part, some of the experiments I would like to run, I think we talked about it, is if you run the same thing where you've tightened up, just like the workflow we showed earlier, right? Because you want to get the latest information and make some investment decisions. But the first time we came up with 3 websites. We say, you know what, from now on, just use these 2 websites and then use this for the price, etc. So now you're teaching it more.
Where is that feedback loop, right? I think, yes, you're right. I think we have to, probably that's the next level of adding more knowledge to it, right? The human has to be part of it to give it additional insight, like you said.
But it's just a training an intern, right? At the end of the day, you don't just say, hey, here's 3 instructions, you go do it. They're going to keep coming back to you asking the question. So the more you teach them, but the good news in a week from now that the intern learned everything, they can run away. But this agent stays with this, and all the training is not going down the tube. They're going to continue to work on.
That's an optimistic way to look at it, Rajni. I like it.
So that's the way I'm looking at it. Is if can everybody, I think at the end of the day, we all have our own travel agent, finance agent, a news aggregator agent. I feel like these are things that are quickly going to happen. We'll make that part of our 2025 prediction episode. But maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part because there's so much information coming. I would love to be able to aggregate it. I would love to be able to give some of these low order work to some agents to do so we can focus on high value. So it is wishful thinking, but I see a lot of business value in that too, right? Like you can go follow your passion or work on things that are challenging.
Remember, I think we are heading towards, absolutely, I agree with you. I think we don't want to spoil the prediction episode, but I think the news aggregators came into being a few years ago, right? You had independent sources, now the aggregators, feeds, and smartness with that. Similar approach is applicable everywhere because we have an onslaught of information coming at us, and we are humans. We are not going to read through every single thing to figure out what's going on. So we need some kind of a predictable and reputable way to summarize, consolidate, provide it to us as an intelligence, right? And whether we can achieve it, it depends on the training, right? If we train it bad, maybe we get a bad agent.
Yeah, today we talked about this. Trump was appointed the AI and crypto star, David Sachs from All In Podcast. Great. I follow the pod. I really like him. He brings a very contrarian opinion. He's very level-headed. But as soon as he got appointed, my first question in my head was like, okay, if he's a crypto guy, whatever his crypto bags, I want to invest in that. So the way I would go about doing that is, as a person, I'll go look at all of his feeds, tweets on X, look at all of his podcast transcription, and then pick anything he said, anything about crypto. Is he pro something? If you get that, that is a wealth of information I can act on. Do I have the time to do it? Absolutely not. But maybe I should. But if I had an agent to do it, they would be running behind the scene right now working on it. So I just feel like if you have these, you can take advantage of all these market shifts happening and immediately respond to it. So it's exciting.
Right. It is interesting, Rajni, but on the flip side, right, what's going to happen to all those follow trade companies, exchanges that are set up to create these follow trades, right? If individuals are tailoring it to their own taste, it's very interesting to see how it's going to evolve. I think there's benefits to both. Yeah, we can talk about this for hours, but I know we're reaching.
Absolutely. This is great. I appreciate, Balaji, you shown the audience the actual how it works. Again, it's not flashy. It is almost there, but we've come a long way in the last 8 months or a year. And I think by the same time we talk in 25, end of 25, this might be just like your SQL server. What? They don't do this? This will become so normal, right? So I really think by end of 2025, we can talk about agents in existence and how we're tweaking agents. That's really what I think we should be going. But saying that, it was an amazing episode. We have lots more to cover. We will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajni. Thanks, everyone.